The pulse of static pierces through the air, like an electric shock, rattling the very foundation of the room. A voice, cold and distant, cuts through the distortion. They're already here. Time freezes. For a brief fleeting moment, the world stands still, as if holding its breath. The chaos comes in waves. A surge of sound follows, a garbled, unintelligible jumble of words and noises. Then the message clears, each syllable chilling to the bone. It's not just a broadcast, it's a signal, an encrypted transmission, a message from beyond the stars, far beyond anything humanity could ever comprehend. We've been waiting for you. The words hang in the air, suffocating in their weight, a promise and a threat all at once. The protagonist stands frozen, every sense heightened. The streets outside erupt in chaos. Panic rises, but nothing will ever be the same again. The truth is out. The world is no longer the same. As the protagonist stares at the screen, they feel the message deep within them, like an unwanted truth crawling under their skin. It's a truth they can't escape. The protagonist's heart races as they struggle to process the incomprehensible message. The alien signal lingers in their mind, haunting every thought, every breath. They try to shake the feeling, but it's impossible. Their fingers hover above the keyboard, typing in frantic, half-formed commands. They need to understand, to make sense of the insanity. We've been waiting for you. The words echo in their mind, each one carrying more weight than the last. The protagonist can feel the walls closing in, the certainty that something terrible is coming. It's only a matter of time before the world changes forever. The news reports outside have started to mention strange phenomena, unexplained sightings, and the sudden surge in military activity. They are coming, but for what? What is the true meaning of the message? The protagonist's thoughts race faster now, but there are no answers. Only more questions. The world is slipping out of their control, and they are powerless to stop it. The transmission continues to pulse in the background, each new wave of static adding to the sense of dread building inside the protagonist. Their mind is racing, desperately trying to find a way to decipher the message, but nothing makes sense. Every attempt to break the code, to understand the symbols, is met with failure. A growing sense of helplessness gnaws at them. What do they do now? They can't ignore the message, can't pretend it's not happening. Something is coming, something far worse than anything they've ever known. The protagonist tries to block out the overwhelming noise in their mind, the weight of the alien words pressing against their skull. The world outside has become a nightmare. People are rioting, the streets flooded with chaos, while military forces mobilize to handle an invasion that no one was prepared for. The protagonist stares at the screen, their reflection distorted by the flashing light. There's no escape now. Outside, the world is descending into chaos. But inside the protagonist's small, dimly lit room, time feels suspended. The world may be crumbling, but all they can do is stare at the screen, unable to tear themselves away. Every part of them wants to scream, to run, to hide from the truth they've just uncovered. But they can't. The message is too powerful, too insistent. It calls to them in a way they can't explain. We've been waiting for you. There's something personal about it, something intimate. The protagonist knows that this is no accident. They were meant to receive this message. They were chosen. But for what? What role do they play in the coming storm? The thought makes their heart race. They stand up from the desk, pacing around the room, as if trying to outrun the suffocating pressure that has settled over them. There's no escaping it now. The truth is out. The alien message continues to pulse in the background, but now it feels different. It feels personal. It feels like a warning. The protagonist stands at the window, looking out at the chaos unfolding below. They watch as soldiers and police flood the streets trying to restore order, but it's clear that it's too late. The damage has already been done. They've uncovered the first piece of a puzzle that will shatter everything they know. The world as they knew it is gone. In its place is something far darker, more dangerous. The protagonist's hands are shaking, and their chest feels tight. The alien ships are out there, and they're coming for Earth. But why? What do they want? The questions are endless, but the answers are nowhere to be found. The days following the alien transmission blur together. The protagonist's life has become a waking nightmare. At first they tried to ignore the chaos, the alien ships in the sky, the reports of strange events across the globe. But it's impossible now. The world is changing, and they can't escape it. Then, the truth starts to seep in. Pieces of a much darker puzzle begin to fall into place. The government, those they once trusted, relied on, has been hiding secrets for decades. The alien presence, the invasion, it was all planned. The protagonist finds themselves at the center of a storm, uncovering whispers of powerful factions working behind the scenes, collaborating with the aliens, manipulating human history for their own purposes. The message, the one that haunted their dreams, now feels like an invitation, a beckoning to uncover the hidden truth. But with every revelation, the weight of it grows heavier. The more they learn, the less they understand, and the more they realize that no one can be trusted, not even those they thought they loved. The protagonist's stomach churns as they uncover more damning information. The government isn't just complicit, it's been orchestrating the entire thing. The alien invasion isn't an accident. It's the next phase of a plan decades in the making. Powerful figures within the highest echelons of power, known only by code names and faces hidden in shadows, have been working with the aliens, manipulating human events, guiding history in a direction that no one else could see. The protagonist feels a deep sense of betrayal, a hollow pit forming inside them. Everything they believed in has been a lie. The world they once knew is crumbling, and the pieces of the puzzle are slipping further and further out of their reach. There's no one they can turn to for help. Their closest allies are just as compromised as the government itself. The only person they can rely on is themselves, and even that is a fragile hope at best. The realization hits like a punch to the gut. The protagonist's closest ally, someone they trusted, someone they thought would always have their back, has been working with the enemy all along. In a moment of raw confrontation, the truth spills out. The owl's face twists into something unrecognizable, eyes cold, distant, as they hiss, "You think I don't remember?" The betrayal cuts deeper than any alien weapon ever could. The protagonist's heart sinks, their world tilting as they try to process the unthinkable. The ally reveals that they have been an alien sleeper agent all along, their loyalty never to the protagonist, but to a far darker force. The protagonist stands frozen, unable to speak, their trust shattered. The finality of the moment is crushing, and every thought that follows is filled with the deep, unshakable feeling that no one is safe, not even those closest to them. Everything is a lie. The betrayal stings, but there's no time to dwell on it. The world is spiraling into chaos, and the protagonist's life is slipping further into disarray. They are now marked, targeted, hunted, not just by the alien invaders, but by the very system they once trusted. As they flee from the confrontation, their mind races, trying to come up with a plan, any plan to fight back. But everything feels impossible now. The government, the aliens, their own allies, they've all turned on them. But in the back of their mind, a flicker of a thought persists. There's something bigger going on. The message, the alien transmission, it wasn't just a warning. It was a call to arms. The protagonist's heart races as they realize they are no longer a passive bystander. They are at the center of something far bigger than themselves. But the question remains, will they have the strength to face it, or will they crumble under the weight of the truth? As the protagonist flees further into the night, their thoughts swirl in a chaotic mess. The betrayal, the lies, the alien presence, it all blends together into a singular, terrifying truth. They are alone. No one is coming to save them. They have no allies left, no one to turn to. But one thing is clear, they must keep moving. The weight of the alien conspiracy, the government's deception, it all crashes down on them in a suffocating wave. The protagonist takes a deep breath, forcing themselves to focus. There is still a chance to fight back, to stop the invasion. But they must find the key to it all. The truth is buried somewhere deep within the alien transmissions, hidden within the web of deceit that has ensnared them. If they can crack the code, they might be able to change the course of history. But the clock is ticking, and the aliens are closing in. Time is running out, and the protagonist knows that the final confrontation is inevitable. The walls of the protagonist's world are closing in. What seemed like a shocking betrayal from their ally now feels like the beginning of something far worse. They are no longer just uncovering a conspiracy, they are living it. Every person they thought they could trust has been compromised, and the web of deceit is expanding faster than they can untangle it. Each new piece of information they uncover leads to more questions, more shadows, more people whose loyalties lie elsewhere. The government's manipulation runs deeper than the protagonist ever imagined. The alien forces weren't simply invading, they were working with the highest levels of human leadership, pulling strings and guiding the course of history. The protagonist feels like a pawn in a game they never signed up to play. But now, they are no longer content to sit by and wait for the inevitable. They must act. They must find the truth, even if it means exposing the darkest, most dangerous secrets of all. As the protagonist digs deeper, the conspiracy begins to take shape. The alien forces were never just invaders. They were allies, co-conspirators, in a plan that spans generations. Through a series of covert meetings, secret projects, and hidden agreements, humanity's fate has been in the hands of a select few who've manipulated history to their advantage. The protagonist finds evidence that the aliens helped to shape the course of war, economics, and even technological advancements. Everything humanity thought it knew about its own history has been twisted. The realization is staggering. Humanity is not the master of its own destiny. It's a pawn in a galactic game, and the true players have yet to reveal their hand. The protagonist can feel the weight of this knowledge pressing down on them, each new discovery more horrifying than the last. But even in this sea of lies, they begin to see the one thread of truth that could change everything. They have a role to play in stopping it. The protagonist's investigation has led them to a shocking conclusion. There's no escape. Every path they consider only deepens the conspiracy. The more they learn, the more they realize how entangled they've become. Every decision they make seems to drive them closer to the truth, but with it comes even greater danger. They are no longer simply uncovering secrets. They are exposed to the very forces that control the world, and those forces are closing in. The protagonist begins to question their own sanity. The weight of the knowledge they possess is overwhelming. The enemy isn't just alien forces, it's humanity itself. The very people who should have protected them have betrayed them. The revelation hits hard. The war isn't between humanity and aliens. It's a war between the forces of control and the forces of freedom, and the protagonist is stuck in the middle. Their survival now depends on whether they can find a way to expose the conspiracy before it's too late. The time for subtlety is over. With their new understanding of the conspiracy, the protagonist decides to take a more direct approach. They infiltrate a government facility, armed with the knowledge they've gathered and a resolve forged in the fires of betrayal. The plan is simple: expose the conspiracy to the world. But as they move through the facility, the sense of danger becomes palpable. Every step they take brings them closer to the heart of the operation. The tension rises with each hallway they cross, each door they open. What they don't realize is that they've been followed. Their every move is being monitored, and the government is already aware of their plan. The protagonist knows there's no turning back now. This is it, the final confrontation. They are about to learn the full extent of the conspiracy they've been chasing, and it will either be their salvation or their undoing. The protagonist reaches the heart of the conspiracy. They find themselves standing in front of a massive sealed door, a door that holds the truth of humanity's darkest secret. The tension in the air is almost unbearable as they force the door open. Inside, the room is filled with holographic displays, alien technology, and evidence of the government's hidden dealings. It's all here, proof that humanity has been manipulated for decades. The protagonist's hands tremble as they reach for a final, critical document, a document that could bring everything crashing down. But as they grab it, the door slams shut behind them. Trapped, a figure steps into view, their silhouette dark and menacing. The protagonist knows immediately. This is no accident. They've been caught. The true enemy reveals itself. Someone within the government, someone close, someone they never suspected. The moment of truth is here, and the protagonist must make a choice. Expose the conspiracy and risk everything, or walk away and live with the consequences. The protagonist's plan has hit a wall. The government's treachery, the alien conspiracy, it's all converging at once. And now there's no escape. The very forces they've been trying to expose are closing in, tightening their grip on the protagonist. The room they're in is a maze of technology and alien artifacts, proof that humanity's future is being written by powers beyond their control. Every inch of the space is designed to intimidate, to remind them that they are alone in this fight. The silence is deafening, only broken by the faint hum of machinery and the distant echo of footsteps. The protagonist is trapped, both physically and mentally. The alien forces are closer now, their ships hovering just outside the atmosphere, ready to strike. What? The protagonist knows that the stakes have never been higher. They have no choice but to act, but with every step, they feel the weight of the world pressing down on them. This battle is no longer about survival, it's about ensuring the future of humanity. The protagonist begins to understand the magnitude of what's at stake. The alien technology, the collaboration between the government and extraterrestrial forces, it all points to a single terrifying truth. Humanity is not just at war with the aliens. They are at war with themselves. The government has been complicit in manipulating human society for decades, and now the truth is on the verge of exposure. As the protagonist prepares for the final confrontation, the weight of their choices presses heavily on them. There's no turning back now. Every action, every move they make from this point on will either seal humanity's fate or offer a last desperate chance at survival. The protagonist realizes that they are not just fighting for their life, they are fighting for the lives of everyone who has been manipulated by the government's conspiracy. They can feel the alien forces closing in, ready to strike, but the real danger is much closer, inside their own ranks. The first wave of the alien assault begins. The skies above are filled with ships, dark silhouettes against the backdrop of the setting sun. The world is on the brink of collapse. Cities around the globe are now under attack, and the protagonist's worst fears are being realized. The alien forces are more organized, more dangerous than anyone could have predicted. They are not just invaders, they are invincible. The protagonist stands in the heart of a crumbling city, watching as the first explosions light up the skyline. They feel a deep, sinking sense of dread as the realization sets in. Humanity has no chance if they face this war alone. The alien technology, the secret government collaboration, it is all part of a larger scheme that the protagonist barely understands. The protagonist's mind races, trying to figure out how they can use the information they've uncovered to stop the invasion. But with each passing moment, it feels like the situation is slipping further beyond their control. As the alien ships descend, the protagonist realizes that humanity's only hope lies in an ancient piece of alien technology they've uncovered during their investigation. The device is an enigmatic artifact, far beyond anything human science has ever created. It pulses with a strange energy, its purpose unclear, but the protagonist knows it may hold the key to turning the tide. They rush to the location where the device is stored, an underground military bunker deep beneath the city. The atmosphere is charged with tension as they race against time. The alien forces are closing in, and the protagonists can hear the distant hum of their ships above. Every second counts. As the protagonist enters the bunker, they are confronted by a group of armed soldiers, their faces masked, standing between them and the device. The final showdown is coming, and the protagonist knows they must confront the soldiers, whether with words or force, to gain access to the weapon that may be the only way to stop the alien threat. The confrontation is inevitable. The protagonist faces down the soldiers in the dimly lit bunker, their hand hovering over the alien device. The soldiers remain unmoved, their weapons raised, ready to strike. The protagonist knows that they cannot win this fight with violence alone. They must convince the soldiers that the device is humanity's only hope. With every word, the protagonist feels the weight of their words. This is no longer just about survival. It's about saving the world. The soldier's resolve starts to waver as the protagonist makes a passionate plea. They reveal the truth about the alien collaboration, about the government's betrayal, and about the fate of humanity. The tension rises as the soldiers hesitate, unsure of who the real enemy is. In that critical moment, the protagonist seizes the opportunity, activating the device and unleashing a surge of energy that sends shockwaves through the bunker. The walls tremble, and the soldiers stagger, their weapons falling to the ground. The alien threat is no longer inevitable. It is now a battle to be won. The devastation is overwhelming. The alien forces have advanced relentlessly, and the protagonist's actions, while momentarily slowing their assault, have not been enough to turn the tide. Humanity is teetering on the brink of collapse. The skies are filled with alien ships, their dark silhouettes blotting out the sun. The ground trembles under the weight of their advanced technology. The protagonist watches, powerless, as cities burn in the distance. The device they activated has had some effect, but it's only a temporary respite. The aliens are adapting faster than humanity can respond. The protagonist realizes that this battle is not just for survival. It is a desperate fight for the soul of humanity. The government's betrayal, the alien collaboration, it all led to this point. There's no one left to trust, no allies to turn to. The protagonist is now faced with a grim reality. The only way to win is to break the cycle of control and manipulation that has plagued Earth for so long. But to do that, they must risk everything. The protagonist's mind races as they try to come up with a plan, any plan that could give humanity a fighting chance. But every strategy, every weapon they consider seems hopelessly inadequate against the alien forces. The true enemy isn't just the invaders, it's the betrayal that runs deeper than anyone could have ever anticipated. Humanity is caught in a web of lies and manipulation, with powerful factions pulling the strings behind the scenes. The protagonist knows that to break free from this cycle, they must do the unthinkable. They must take down the people in power, the ones who have allowed the aliens to manipulate Earth for their own gain. But the cost of this victory will be unimaginable. The protagonist feels the weight of their decision, knowing that exposing the truth will shatter everything humanity holds dear. But there's no turning back now. This is the only way to save what remains. The decision is made. The protagonist knows what they must do, even though it feels like a death sentence. They prepare to infiltrate the heart of the alien command structure, to plant the seeds of revolution deep within the heart of the enemy's stronghold. It's a suicide mission. There's no way to survive it. But the protagonist is resolved. As they prepare for the final assault, they take a moment to reflect on everything they've lost. Their trust in humanity, their faith in the future, their very sense of self. But amidst the darkness, a flicker of hope remains. If they succeed, the alien threat could be defeated, and humanity might have a chance to rebuild. The protagonist stands on the edge of the abyss, knowing that this is the last, desperate hope for the survival of Earth. The final battle is at hand. The protagonist's infiltration of the alien stronghold is met with heavy resistance. The air is thick with the sound of gunfire and the screeching hum of alien technology. The protagonist moves through the corridors, dodging blasts from the alien sentries and weaving between shadows. With every step, the sense of urgency grows. They know that time is running out. The alien command center is within reach, but the closer they get, the more dangerous the mission becomes. The protagonist's heart pounds in their chest as they round the final corner, their eyes locking onto the control room ahead. But just as they are about to make their move, a voice calls out from behind them, a voice they know all too well. The final betrayal is revealed, and the protagonist realizes that the one person they thought they could trust has been working for the enemy all along. The truth is more devastating than anything they could have imagined. The final confrontation unfolds in the heart of the alien command center. The protagonist faces their betrayer, the one they trusted above all others. The revelation of their true allegiance is like a punch to the gut. But there's no time for emotion now. The alien ships are preparing for the final strike, and humanity's fate hangs in the balance. The protagonist squares off against their betrayer, the weight of their shared history between them. Words are exchanged, each one cutting deeper than the last, but the moment of truth has arrived. The protagonist knows they must make a choice: destroy the command center and risk the lives of billions, or sacrifice themselves to ensure the aliens' defeat. In that final desperate moment, the protagonist chooses to act. They set off the charges, triggering an explosion that shakes the very foundation of the command center. The alien forces are thrown into disarray, but the protagonist pays the ultimate price. The world watches as the final battle plays out, knowing that the future is uncertain. The alien forces are closing in, and the protagonist knows that time is running out. The stakes have never been higher. The world is on the brink of total collapse, and the alien ships loom over the cities, casting shadows that seem to reach into every corner of human existence. The protagonist is standing at a crossroads, faced with a decision that will determine the fate of humanity. The alien technology they've uncovered is humanity's best chance at survival, but it comes with a terrible cost. Using the technology could lead to unprecedented advancements, but it could also strip away the very essence of humanity, turning Earth into a dystopian society controlled by forces that no one fully understands. The protagonist grapples with the enormity of this choice. Do they use the alien power and risk humanity's soul, or do they reject it and face certain destruction? The weight of the decision is crushing, and the protagonist can't shake the feeling that whatever choice they make, there will be no turning back. As the protagonist stands before the alien technology, their mind races. They think back to everything they've learned about the government's betrayal, the alien conspiracy, and the sacrifices made by so many. Every choice they've made so far has led them here to this moment. But the weight of the decision is almost too much to bear. The world outside is descending into chaos, with cities falling under the alien assault. And yet here they are, faced with an impossible choice. The technology could be the key to humanity's survival, but it could also destroy what it means to be human. The protagonist realizes that they are no longer just fighting for survival, they are fighting for the very soul of Earth. They must decide whether to embrace this alien power or destroy it, knowing that either choice will have consequences that will ripple through time. The protagonist's heart pounds in their chest as they make the most difficult decision of their life. The protagonist takes a deep breath, their hand trembling as it reaches toward the alien technology. For a moment, everything stands still, the weight of the world on their shoulders, the pulse of the alien device filling the room. They think of the people they've lost, of the lives that have been destroyed, and of the world that is slipping through their fingers. But as their fingers brush against the cold metal, a surge of energy pulses through them. They feel a strange power course through their veins, a sensation both exhilarating and terrifying. The device is alive, and it is responding to them. The protagonist realizes that they have made their choice. There is no turning back now. They activate the device, and the world around them begins to shift. The ground shakes beneath their feet, and the sky outside darkens as alien ships begin to shift in formation. The final battle has begun. The protagonist stands at the heart of the alien device's power, the air around them vibrating with an unnatural energy. The decision has been made, and there is no going back. As the alien technology activates, waves of energy pulse through the room, cascading outwards and reaching toward the sky. The alien ships above respond, their dark forms moving in unison, as though they are part of some greater synchronized plan. The protagonist feels a sense of dread wash over them as they realize the true scale of what they've just unleashed. The power of the device is immense, but with it comes an overwhelming sense of responsibility. Humanity's future now depends on the protagonist's ability to control this power, to wield it in a way that will benefit the world, rather than doom it. But as the energy builds, the protagonist knows that their actions will determine whether humanity rises from the ashes or falls deeper into the grip of the alien invaders. As the protagonist watches the alien ships move into formation, they realize that the world has irrevocably changed. The device is now fully activated, and humanity's fate is hanging by a thread. The protagonist must act quickly. There is no more time for hesitation. The alien forces are gathering, and the protagonist knows that their window of opportunity is closing fast. With a sudden burst of determination, they make their way to the control panel, frantically inputting commands to override the alien systems. The ground shakes once more as the energy from the device surges, and the protagonist holds their breath. If they fail, the consequences will be catastrophic. But if they succeed, they could turn the tide of the invasion. The protagonist's heart pounds in their chest as the final sequence begins, knowing that this is their last chance to save the world. The dust has settled. The world is forever changed. The alien threat has been repelled, but the victory is bittersweet. The protagonist stands amidst the ruins of a city that was once thriving, now reduced to ashes. The war is over, but the cost has been staggering. The world's landscape has shifted. Humanity has learned that it is not alone, and the consequences of this knowledge are far-reaching. The protagonist's mind is numb with exhaustion. They have survived the unimaginable, but at what cost? The betrayal, the sacrifice, the endless battles, they have taken their toll. The protagonist looks around, seeing the remnants of their fight everywhere. Broken buildings, devastated streets, and the scattered survivors who will rebuild from the ashes. The truth has been exposed, but now, humanity must face the challenge of a new world. There is no going back to the way things were. Everything has changed, and it's up to the survivors to decide how they will move forward. As the protagonist walks through the remains of the city, they see the faces of the survivors. They are broken, scarred, but alive. Some are helping each other rebuild, while others are lost in thought, struggling to come to terms with the new reality. There are no easy answers, no clear path forward. The protagonist knows that the war is over, but the real work has only just begun. Humanity must rebuild, not just its cities, but its very identity. The past, full of lies, betrayals, and corruption, can never be fully erased. The knowledge that humanity has been manipulated by forces beyond their control is a burden that will weigh heavily for generations. But there's a sliver of hope in the rubble. The alien technology, once a weapon of destruction, now holds the potential to help humanity rebuild. The protagonist wonders what the future holds for a world that has just learned it is part of something much larger. Will humanity rise from the ashes? Or will it fall again? The protagonist reaches a small group of survivors who have begun to gather the alien technology left behind by the invaders. It is a delicate balance. The technology, so powerful and dangerous, could either rebuild or destroy the world once more. The protagonist watches as they carefully study the alien devices, unsure of whether to use them or to destroy them. There's a deep sense of caution in the air. The temptation to harness the power of the technology is strong, but so is the fear of repeating the mistakes of the past. The protagonist knows that the alien technology could be a double-edged sword. If misused, it could usher in a new age of oppression, but if used wisely, it could help humanity heal. The decisions made now will shape the future, and the weight of that responsibility is not lost on the protagonist. As they stand there watching the survivors debate, they can't help but feel the burden of leadership settle on their shoulders. The decision is made. The protagonist steps forward, addressing the group of survivors with a sense of purpose. It is time to decide whether to embrace the alien technology or destroy it. There is no easy answer, but the protagonist knows that the world must be rebuilt on its own terms. The alien influence cannot define humanity's future. The protagonist speaks passionately, outlining a vision for a new world, one that is free from manipulation and control, one where humanity decides its own fate. The survivors listen in silence, some skeptical, others hopeful. The decision is unanimous. The alien technology will be preserved, but it will be used only for the benefit of all, with strict guidelines to ensure it is never weaponized again. The protagonist knows that this is just the first step, but it is an important one. There is still much work to be done, and the future is uncertain. But for the first time in a long while, there is hope for a better tomorrow. The protagonist walks alone through the ruins of the city once more, the weight of the world still pressing on their shoulders. The decision to preserve the alien technology was a pivotal moment, but it was only the beginning. There is still much to be done, and the challenges ahead are immense. The world is broken, but not beyond repair. The protagonist knows that they must continue to lead, to guide humanity through the fragile early days of rebuilding. As they walk, the protagonist reflects on everything that has happened. The war, the betrayals, the sacrifices, and wonders what the future holds. Will humanity rise from the ashes of its own destruction? Will it learn from its mistakes? The protagonist doesn't know the answer, but they understand that the future is now in the hands of those who survive. And in that, there is a glimmer of hope. The alien forces may have left, but the battle for humanity's soul has just begun.